James Borrego said that if you're turning the ball over 5 times in 16 minutes, that ain't gonna cut it for me. If you're doing that on the offensive end, you better be bringing something defensively. And this is referring to LaMelo Ball. Now, Caleb, buy or sell? I'm not gonna ask you whether you think that that's the right strategy. I want you to kind of go on that on your own. But I want to ask you, buy or sell? Will this method work on LaMelo?
I don't really know him personally enough to like say that. You know what I mean? I don't know what his mentality is. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough to really say how he's gonna react to something like this. I'm gonna guess that it will work because he's a young player and he's hungry to prove people wrong. A lot of people say that he's overrated, and they're lying because they don't like his dad. But a lot of people think that he doesn't have a good mentality, doesn't have a good work ethic. I would disagree. You have to have something to make it to this level, and I would say that it will work on him. But I'm gonna go off and do exactly what you didn't want me to do. I'm gonna say that I do think that this is a wrong way to go about it. If this guy is a 15th to late, like 15th to 25th pick, sure, you can bench him, do that. But this guy's the third overall pick. That means that you see him as a franchise cornerstone, right? Let him play through these mistakes. Just let him go out and do it. You're Charlotte. You're not playing for a championship. You're not playing for playoffs right now. If you make it, cool. Just let him learn through these mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, for me, that's what I'd do because he's a guy that you view as a franchise changing centerpiece.
Well, the only part that I can disagree with you on is the fact that you said you want to let him play through it. I can't agree with that. And I will say that I will buy that. I think that this will work. I believe James Borrego is going to really make an impact as far as telling LaMelo, hey, if you're not going to go out there and play defense, you're not going to play. And he did tell him that straight up. They lost 4 in a row, and Ball was a combined minus 53 on the court during that span. Now, granted, he is not the sole reason for the defense being bad, right? The Hornets don't have a very good defensive team, but I will say one thing. While James Borrego wants to believe that, yes, LaMelo needs to make these mistakes, right? While you did say that you believe LaMelo needs to play through these mistakes, correct? I will agree with you on that. But the one thing I will say is you don't want a guy that's just because they're a franchise cornerstone, just because they're number 3 pick, that he's playing absurd amount of minutes, allowed to make mistakes, allowed to do everything on his own, and allowed to just kind of have whatever leeway and just be like, well, you're a rookie, so just make all the mistakes you want. Because when you do that, bad habits start to build. And when bad habits start to build, you end up being a very low IQ player. Now, LaMelo is not a low IQ player. He has a high IQ, but defensively, and I was watching the Orlando game, he does not know what he's doing on defense, Caleb. If you watch him on defense,
No.
isolate him. Just game away. Just watch the tape. Watch him. He just kind of follows around a random guy, and then he pushes a guy to guard his guy. Like he'll just kind of guard. He'll guard whoever's close to him, and that works. Whatever. For now, he can kind of get away with that. But he has possessions where they give up wide open threes because LaMelo doesn't know who he's guarding. He gets lost on defense a lot. And one thing I will say is I do believe James Borrego needs to let him play through these mistakes, but you can't let him continuously play through like bad mistakes. But when you have Caleb Martin playing 15 minutes, when you have Tay Rozier and Devontae Graham playing more minutes, that's concerning to me. Is Devontae Graham
Yeah.
or Tay Rozier going to be your future guy? No. You need to give LaMelo those minutes. You need to allow him to make mistakes. Do not do the Luke Walton and single out Buddy Hield, just like James Borrego right now is singling out LaMelo Ball. Because, hey, at the end of the day, you're going to get fired. It's not worth it. They drafted the guy for a reason. They drafted him number 3 for a reason. They hired you as a coach to do the job that you are supposed to do, coach the team. If you are out here killing your star, you're out here pissing him off, I'll tell you one thing. His seat is about to get real hot if he continues what he's doing.